Alright, welcome YouTube. So I had recorded a video and realized it was super long and nobody wants to sit here for 40 minutes. So, um, bring it up to speed real quick. I want to go over some examples of impulse entry, one or two, trying to make it fast. Um, I had done 3 trades, 2 were losses, and 1 was a win. And that's where we're at now. So that just goes to show you with good risk management, you can have more losses than wins and still be overall in the green. Now, that brings me to what I want to talk about, which is impulse entries. I trade pre-London London, so let's go there. Alright, so pre-London, here we are. Starting at the daily, we are looking bullish with a lot of trash. So that's not the best, but we are moving bullish. So let's check the 4 hour, see how that looks. Broken this resistance. Actually, we've broken these little areas. Let's create a range, because that's where we're at. We're in this nasty consolidation area. Ideally, what I'd like to see is, what's it, since we're doing impulse, is this isn't a good example for impulse, but we're going to roll with my second strategy. So if you can't get impulse, we'll wait for this support to be created. I guess impulse would be as it breaks the high. 44 pips. Let's do that since I'm trying to do a video on impulse. Let's go with that. This is probably the high we're talking about. Let me check. Clone. No, that's probably the high. So we broke this high. Ideally, the trade would have been right here because we're in a we're in pre-London London and everything's looking bullish. This candle's strong. Resistance was created. We're breaking resistance. 10 pips. 10. This wick fill would be 23 pips. Yeah, let's not do stupid trades. It's a bad idea because we're right here at resistance. We're going to want a closure above. The spread is ridiculous, ain't it? Okay, so 4 hours breaking above. Got all that range we can feel. 4 hours breaking above. Let's see. Let's do below the current candle. And some breathing room. Alright, let's see how this goes. So I'm just looking for 10 pips here. Got a little hiccup here. Hopefully we'll keep moving past that. It was close. It wanted to. Would have been nice to have closed right then, but that's alright, because we're shooting for 10. If the 15 minute, you know how we do, if the 15-minute closes bearish and breaks that low, we'll close 50%. So then we'll next bar it to see if it. So that's cool. So now if we were to retest and create a support, we'd have enough range to make a second trade. So as it breaks out of this zone, resistance, broken resistance, take a buy. I'm looking at the fact that a resistance was created and then we had a decent bullish close above this resistance, above this resistance. So in theory it should continue pushing bullish. It should. With the daily pushing bullish like that. Man, it is not in our favor today, is it? So close another 50%, which ain't a big deal. Most most of the time you should be shooting for 2% per day. So since it's an impulse entry, it's already considered risky. So we shoot for 1%. At least that's what I do. Now we're going back into pre-London. Okay, so I can see this stuff quick, basically, because of how long I've been practicing it. But since we're already in the 30-minute, let's do this. That was a resistance right here and right here. This candle closes above resistance. So spread's going to mess us all up, but ideally as it breaks this high, you could create a buy. We got 20, 24, 25 pips over here. So we're going to take a buy. We're going to take a buy. Because the risk management looks so good, I'm going to go off the previous candle. If this was a little, I don't know, like considering the risk, you could say the current candle, but it's so small here, and I'm more like give it breathing room. So let's give it some breathing room. Play it out. I mean, it's clean movement to the left. This should go all the way up to this point here. Should be in the keyword. Okay, gonna get a new 30 in a little bit. Start now. This will be the real key. So I don't have a bearish closure. It still looks, it's looking good. I got a new 15 candle. Yeah, this should be good. I mean, it's rejecting these areas here. So, and now all I'm looking for is 10 pips, and that's not good. Typically, that's not good, but only thing you can say here is, yeah, it closed bearish, but it's a doji style. It's a doji style, which means it's indecisive. If it had been a closure kind of like this, I may would have closed 50%, but not this time. Close partials, break even. That's why you always that's why I always close it at 80-90%. I don't really worry too much about runners because 9 times out of 10 it's coming back anyways. But just to kind of go over it a little bit, like I come to the charts and I see this. The first thing I notice is it's ranging right here, which means you don't want to take a trade in here, right? So you'd want an impulse. If you're going the impulse route, you want it below here to retest this support created, or you'd want it ideally kind of where this candle is as it breaks the high of these previous candles. Easy risk management with a good move potential. So that would have been the ideal impulse entry. So let's see, how long are we? What are we at? I don't even know if it tells you. Anyways, so that's one example. I'll try to do one more quick one. Call it a day. Um, so I'll just fast forward to the next pre-London. See, same thing kind of here. Clone it. I kind of want it to break below this, which is possible. The daily, I mean, this is a big rejection area. You see how this whole area is just, ugh. 4 hour gap down right here. But we're almost in the next 30 minute. Let's fast forward it. Fast forward it. Alright, so if it breaks below here, which it's not, but if it does, we'll take an impulse entry. This would be perfect if it broke below 18. So impulse entry, that's why we're doing 1% risk. Um, your stop loss is minimal, and if it mimics this move to the left, that means ideally you'd shoot for here. But a realistic one is more right here because these are your resistances, which means they would turn supports. So there's a good chance it'll come down here and either break through this area or retest it as support. But either way, 29 pips, that's good. It's good money. So let's see how she goes. So far, so good, but I mean, that's why it's an impulse. A better move would be a closure below. I'm just watching this because if it. Alright, so yeah, we would close 50% here. This is all part of the risk management strategy. Alright, so let's kind of play this out, right? My stop loss was right here. Alright, I'll do um do a check right here. Alright, so that's where the stop loss was. Looking on the 15 minute, oh gosh, I have to clone it. So this was kind of my stop loss area. Looking at the 15 minute, it turned bullish here, but it was still below this area. So I gave it an opportunity to break its own high. So when it broke its own high, I dropped my risk to 50%. So that means if we're just doing calculator here, that means on a $10,000 account, why am I so bad at math? $10,000 account, 1% of that is what? 100? 10 times 1% equals 100. Yeah, okay. So half of that would be, $50. $50 at whatever your pip count was. So like 14. What was my entry and stop loss? Much easier way to do this. So I closed 50% here at $27, which means if I'd have let it ride full, it would have been what, $54, $55 loss. And then that's not including the difference between where I cut it to where the stop actually was. So it would have been a much bigger loss. Long story short. All right. Admittedly, I'm terrible at math, but long story short, I cut the risk substantially. All right. So instead of, even if it had have gone from here to here, instead of going from here to here at 100% of risk, it's at 50%. So, um, but then once I took it, it never broke this area. So at that point, I'm just in a real trade. I'm watching it as it goes down, and then that's where it hit my mark right here. That's where it hit my 10 pips. So just a quick summary, I guess. Impulse entry, I have a resistance and I have a support. And in times of volume, so what time is this? 12. So that's right here in London session. It broke this support and it broke the low of this at the same time. So that's when I took my 1% impulse. Now, if it had done this, like let's say let's say we just play through just to kind of what? Just for entertainment's sake. Okay, Joker. There we go. I don't know why it was doing that. But just for curiosity's sake, let's say we wait for resistance, right? That we never get. I'm just doing the accelerated version of this. So the break and retest, like see how we've created a resistance up here? Alright, so basically we created a high, we come down, created a low. To me, this is a break and retest. So this is where this is different than the impulse. So since we closed bullish, this doesn't really count towards my video, but we go towards the previous 22 pip, some break and retest. We're just gonna see what happens. And then that's break and retest. And I'll make a video on that too to show you what I was looking at. But chances are good if it comes and creates a high, pulls back and creates a support, then it'll retest that high. It happens a lot. Like it just does. But this was more for impulse entries. I hope you get a good idea of that. Basically, it's just in a trending market. Instead of waiting for this pullback here, instead of waiting for a pullback, I would have said, okay, I've got a resistance right here, and then as this one breaks out of the resistance, I could have took a buy right here to wherever the next resistance would be. Because looking at this on the 4 hour, there's a resistance probably like, yeah, right over here, you know? So that would be my target. Anyways, if you enjoy the video, the breakdown, simulation, I tried to keep it short and concise as possible. Just then leave a like and drop some comments. If you want to do other strategies, subscribe. And yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully you enjoyed it and see you next video.